Hi everyone, my name is Corey Cascalera. I'm going to be presenting my poster called Classifying Minority Stress Disclosure on Social Media with Bidirectional Long Short-Term Memory. So let me start with the main conclusion, right? So this is a proof of concept study, and basically what we did is we used a sequence model to classify minority stress, which is a construct that's really important for LGBTQ health, with an accuracy of 62 to 65% depending on the data set that we used. And what this means is that this is a really good first step to use sequent models to continue to detect difficult to detect psychological constructs that are important for LGBTQ health. I'm going to spend a little bit of time telling you why this matters. So LGBTQ people experience minority stress, and this is basically the stress that occurs because they're a social minority person, and it occurs by living in a stigmatizing society. Minority stress is the leading framework by the National Institutes of Health and other major health organizations that is used to explain health inequity. So it's a really important construct for us to understand. And but researchers and clinicians need to detect it, right? They're often developing new measures or new ways to assess minority stress. But there are limitations to traditional psychological methods. And by using social media data, we might be able to circumvent those limitations, right? Because social media is often fulfilling very important functions for LGBTQ people, and we know that LGBTQ people are using social media more than the general population. So our data set, we manually labeled 350 Reddit posts from the subreddit r/LGBT, and then we used multi-layer perceptron to machine label the rest of these data. And we used different coders who achieved high level of agreement on these 350 Reddit posts. So we trusted our manually labeled labels pretty good. And we also tested the model with a balanced data set because we know unbalanced data sets have unattractive properties. You've probably seen the model already in the figure 1, but the network architecture, this was just a vanilla BI-LSTM that we implemented in PyTorch. We used cross-entropy loss, the atom optimizer, and manual hyperparameter tuning. You can see there the best hyperparameters that we used for our final predictions. I'm including a confusion matrix here showing the classification performance on the balanced data set, which was better, but you can see that the BI-LSTM model was kind of an over-friendly person, right? It was just saying yes more times than not. Although we were able to predict true positives pretty well, the model was tending to over-predict that minority stress was present. And if you didn't get a chance to look at the BI-LSTM network architecture, you can see here that we transformed the Reddit post into word embeddings, fed them into a single layer BI-LSTM architecture, or layer, I should say, hidden layer, used dropout, concatenated to a fully connected neural network, and then predicted with sigmoid, because this is a binary classification problem. Now, because this is a proof of concept study, there are many limitations and future directions available, right? The manually labeled data set's not the best choice, so we're going to try to label more posts with humans. We want to use random search instead of hand hyperparameter tuning, perhaps using deeper layers. In the future, we're going to implement GLOVE or word-to-vec instead of our custom word embeddings. And it might even be useful for us to look at sentence embeddings because minority stress is really hard to capture in one word. Oftentimes you need to convey it in a sentence or two. And of course, there are other network architectures that we might examine, such as convolutional long short-term memory. But despite these limitations of a proof of concept study, what if we can create a high-performing optimized neural network for detecting minority stress on social media? A lot of great things could happen, right? We can deploy these network architectures as services to detect LGBTQ internet users who are most at risk for harmful consequences, right? Such as developing depression or becoming suicidal by experiencing minority stress. We could also use these models to link people to professional care and support services. And we could even generate brief automated interventions such as chatbots by using these models. But of course, there's ethical concerns, right? What about anonymity? What about politically unsafe environments? And do LGBTQ people even want this type of work being done? So that's all. If you have any questions, my contact information is here. If you want to collaborate and you're interested in LGBTQ health on social media, hit me up. I would love to chat more. And of course, you can read the paper on this link below. Thanks so much. Have a good one.